the live broadcast of Newsbeat. I am Bryce Nanakwesi Amani. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Reconstruction works on the only wooden bridge on the Inzile River, which cut off residents of two communities after it was washed away following heavy rains last week, has begun. Two persons dead with 3 others in critical condition after a Toyota Camry crashed into a drinking spot at the Ewutu district in the Ewutu West district of the Central Region. And on the international front, 6 persons killed as rocket attack collapsed apartment block in Ukraine's Donbass. We'll tell you more. Stay with us. And thank you for joining us here on the news this afternoon. Now, the reconstruction works on a broken bridge which was linked two communities in Akweda in the West region has begun. The wooden bridge was washed away following heavy rains in the area. As a result, economic activities came to a temporary halt as the people are unable to cut their foodstuffs to the market. Consequently, the residents had appealed to the government to provide them with a new concrete or steel bridge to restore economic activities. Ensure free movement of residents. Now, the call has always fallen on deaf ears. The community has taken it upon itself to reconstruct the bridge. The Municipal Chief Executive Officer of Ahanta West, John Ajari, joins us on phone for more update on what exactly is happening in the area. Now, good afternoon, welcome to Newsbeat. What is happening as we speak? You've been talking to government to have this constructed, but it has fallen on deaf ear, and finally, residents in the community are doing what they want to do for themselves. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your viewers and your listeners. It isn't true that the community have taken upon themselves and then they are constructing the bridge. It's not true. So whoever told you this is not true. If you want to know what has happened and what we are doing now, is this.
Tell me.
This bridge, it's a bridge. You know, we have a community called Akwada. There are 2 communities, that is old and a new Akwada, and it's a river, a very big river that separates the 2. So formerly, they were using canoe to cross until 2003. That's under Kufuor's government. That made that plan and then saw that, you know, when you are crossing with a canoe, so many things happen. So there was a wooden bridge that was constructed to at least allow those people coming from the new to come to the old, and then old people too, when they want to go to New Akwada, they can also go there to and fro, morning, afternoon, evening, and then at night.
All right.
Now, so it was a wooden bridge was constructed until just recently, that, you know, the rains, the volume of it broke down that wooden bridge. Apart from that, this bridge that I'm talking of has been given to a contractor. That is a CODA. It's a CODA project. And the contractor came to the community there, mobilized people. We went with him to various various opinion leaders to even look for an accommodation for the workers. The contractor brought all his materials to the site during 2020, and then we didn't hear what happened that he left. He couldn't come and then do the thing. We were thought of going to do it on a steel bridge, and then he left. Just last March, CODA people called us on completed projects. I submitted that particular project, and I was told that they will engage the contractor, and then if they see that he cannot do it, then what they do is to terminate the contract until last Tuesday when the wooden bridge got broken. Now, when the bridge got broken, the following day, Wednesday, I was at the scene and I saw that it's not good. So what we did was that we met the community, the opinion leaders there, and then what they need is the electricity pole, the long one. You know, because of the depth of the sea, the long electricity pole. They need 10 of it, 10 of the electricity pole. Now, the forestry department, you know, that place too is a forest area, and then the forestry department also came into our aid and also provided some boards. So what they need was the electricity pole and some nails, the electricity poles and some nails to be able to put that bridge there for people to cross. And the assembly, led by me, have managed to purchase 10 electricity poles. Yesterday, the people came for it. The nails and everything is going to be provided to them tomorrow, because yesterday, where we were going to purchase the thing, the stores were closed. Tomorrow, they are going to get it. This morning, I have called assembly member, and then they are there working. So it isn't that the assembly has neglected them and it's the community who are doing it. No, the community hasn't done anything. What they are doing is their labor. The community are doing, they are using their labor. So when it comes to labor, it is the community, but every material is provided by the assembly and then the forestry department.
All right, and great to have you here for this update this afternoon. What exactly is happening there in your region? So John Ejari is the Municipal Chief Executive of the Ewutu district there. Let's bring more update here this afternoon, what is happening across the country. And 2 persons have been confirmed dead, with 3 others in critical condition after a Toyota Camry crashed into a drinking spot at Ewutu in the Ewutu Senior West district of the Central region. Now, reports indicate that the unregistered vehicle with DV number DP47218-2022 had 3 occupants, including the driver. They were said to be traveling from Ewutu Breku to where the accident happened when the accident occurred on Saturday. Upon reaching a section of the road, the driver reportedly lost control, causing the vehicle to veer off the road and crash into the spot, which had several patrons. An eyewitness spoke to Metro News.
Accident and a rush here, meaning a young of foot nearby. Thereby, no, not can drinking sports in him. Near Russia, me rushing and granted, Colamin war, for more Macana, Cana form smoke. Back when you know, you never could do my day. Ma dumping at the APP. Back on the she and back on the way. You put a final clinic. Oma nipa mi no mo ka na obi ne yire
no ne nam no so we pra nanu achi say atwa nti omo apira pa omo apira nipa no di speed dodo aden ayo mo kaka mo ntobo we pra obra kira de ya asam keto akura we pra enti mi ntumi hu omo nya ka fofora na omo de akwaji skedura na hwi we pra pa
to bi shemo ase ano ye ntumi ntere sesi a ti so omo pedaka na se hu se obi shemo na se obi shemo.
Quite a worrying situation right there. Our correspondent from the Central Region, Kwesi Ado, is on Zoom to bring you the latest update on what happened there in the Ewutu Obrachiri region there. Kwesi, what more can you tell us?
Okay, Ken. So unfortunately, we have 2 persons dying as a result of that accident. And on a rather very sad note, all these persons happens to be children who happens to be from the same family. The first victim is 7 years old, while the other victim is 14 years old. Now, what happened was that the speeding driver first ran into a container store and then killed the 7-year-old instantly, and then it also ran into a drinking spot where the 14-year-old was present, and then had him severely injured. So he was rushed to the Ewutu Bojuase Polyclinic, and then whilst preparations were being made to have him further referred to the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital, he also passed away, sadly. We have several other persons also who have been injured as a result of that particular accident and are currently receiving treatment. Now, the family is very devastated because it doesn't come easy losing 2 children in such a terrible manner.
All right, we'll come back to you later for more update, but what exactly is happening where the accident happened?
Okay, so what actually is happening is that we have people massing up and then deliberating over the matter. But Ken, as a matter of fact, that particular stretch where the accident happened is not yet in the good condition. That is the stretch from Ewutu Bojiase to Bontrace. It isn't in a very good condition. But the drivers still and motorizers still do speed on that particular stretch. Just as the former MCU of the area has been telling us, he actually saw the driver speeding and cautioned him even before he approached the township, but he fails to adhere to that caution, and then we are having this unfortunate incident happening now. The other stretch that joins the Bojiase through to Kaswa is also under construction, but the contractor is yet to finish with the work on that particular stretch, as he is just about having the road furniture put in place, i.e. the road markings, and then the placement of road signs and speed ramps where necessary. But drivers and riders still do speed in the area, causing much danger to pedestrians in the area, Kate.
And of course, it's quite worrying because, according to information we are receiving, these two persons who have lost their lives are children. What were they doing at the drinking spot?
Okay, so the first child was actually selling at a container store, which is closer to the drinking spot. That container store sells provisions. And then the 14-year-old also was assisting his parents in their activities in that very spot.
All right, thank you so much for this update. We'll come back to you later if there are any more to share with our viewers. Thank you so much. Now, away from that to another story, the remains of Kwabena Ujam, an 18-year-old Okada rider who was murdered for money rituals at Ewutu Bontrace in the Ewutu Sunya district of the Central Region has been found, but in a decomposed state.
Suspect Maunya Francis, who was earlier picked up from his hideout in Agona Suidro, led police investigators to the site where the victim was killed. Police say the naval cord area of the body, which was already decomposing, had been cut open with the heart and mouth removed. Metro News has gathered that suspect Maunya has since opened up to police that he and his accomplice had planned to buy a Benz out of the proceeds they'd have made out of the rituals. Some angry youth of Ewutu Bontrace have been reacting to the issue.
Let's now talk about community mining. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirakuduka, has vowed to cause the arrest of small-scale miners who go contrary to a legal framework drafted by his ministry. He was speaking during the commissioning of some community mining concessions in the Tiwa West and East constituencies. The move, according to the ministry, is to formalize operations of artisans in mining.
The commissioning of the concessions follows recent commissioning of various community mining schemes in the Ashanti, Western North, Ahafo and Bono, among other regions. The first port of call was the commissioning at Esunafo in Etiwa West. Small-scale mining activities were formalized.
I'm sounding a note of warning that you should come forward. Come to the district assembly, register, let us know you, fulfill your obligations, and enjoy your mining activities. The standards that are going to be applied within the community mining framework are equally going to be applied.
In the Etiwa East District, the commissioning was done at Asaman Tamfoy. The youth were elated as the move is projected to reduce unemployment in the enclave.
Community mining way,
Deputy Minister for Land and Natural Resources, George Mweku Duka, speaking to the media, noted that the commissioning has become necessary to properly streamline activities of artisan miners.
Previously, we could just get anywhere, get a community mining commissioned. Now we've indicated to the general public that it's not like getting, community mining just commissioned. We want you also to follow the manual that has been published, that there must be a health post on site, there must be an office, there must be a changing room. You must also admit geologists and mining engineers on site, that people who in a way will direct as to how best you can follow international best practices. It's very important and dear to our hearts.
Judge Mweku Duka also warned persons who flout the legal framework of this project of arrest and confiscation of equipment.
We have procured some speedboats that very soon we're going to also put on our river bodies. This speedboat, we are recruiting river wardens who will be permanently also placed along the river banks of the various river bodies in this country, just to make sure they patrol and police these river bodies all day or 24/7. And the Operation Hall 2 will not relent on that. They will also be doing their usual work of using the helicopter to be patrolling and be arresting recalcitrant who wouldn't listen to the warnings that we give.
On his part, Zambian Minister of Mines and Resource Development, Paul Kabuswe, maintained that Ghana's mining sector has a lot to offer the Republic of Zambia, who has recently begun exploit in gold mining.
So now we are going into gold. So we want to see how we can formalize the gold properly, both at large scale and also the artisanals. Our focus really for coming to Ghana was to look at how you are doing the formalization, and pleasantly, it's a coincidence that is so pleasant that we are able to be part of the launch of these two formalizations. Okay, and looking at the technology that you are using, I must say that I'm so impressed with what I've seen.
The entourage also visited some small-scale miners in the region. Ghana has in recent years suffered the effect of illegal mining ongoing in our forest reserves and water bodies. According to government, this move, which will be subsequently carried out countrywide, will help better protect the ecosystem. Shadrach Odame Ejari, Metro News, Eastern Region.
Meanwhile, the chief of Sunafu Nana Ofosu-Kwame Ayibiashe has warned minors to eschew sexual child abuse in the area. He was speaking at the commissioning of the small-scale mining concessions in the Eastern Region.
Now the ohun abehye no yesra mu bebre enhyehyaya nananom ene aban ede agu kwan so no obi a befa so yesra se obi mfa tumi bi nhye ne nza se won de ne ho odin etu ode patapa ebebe sunafo na trimupo a oman no ene nananom ahyehya to ho no emamu de Mijami Uranam, any Abanam, any DC anam, and Yadia, Yabeman is a quine. It in a yes, Ran said, Yes, you will be a quine. Yen some mining, I have been a community mining. You were no more. Omukra small scale, waha. Your more air large scale. Your best says a bra deputy minister, a bureau quine. Ye committee wo DC ene nananom committee no obi a do nkrata beba na nananom ahwem na dwumadie bi a wo bedie no mineral commission EPA ene wo mo ekeka ho wo mu nyina aboa ni ahwe se obi adwumadie a wo die no akoyie na ye a ahye sebe nananom anumonyam na hye aban so anumonyam.
We are live on DSTV channel 277. This is Newsbeat. We are back from the break with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the Omanhene of Elmina has threatened to have the St. George's Castle and its township closed. This, according to him, is as a result of government's failure to bequeath to the township royalties of the sales made out of tourist activities at the castle. He was speaking at the ceremony to climax the 2022 Bakatouo Festival. Central Regional Correspondent Akwesiado comes through with details of the story.
It happens to be the first celebration of the Bakatouo Festival since the outbreak of COVID-19, and the township of Edina, or otherwise known as Elmina, one of Ghana's ancient towns, is in a flamboyant state as both indigenes and visitors have thronged the township to catch a glimpse of the beautiful festival. Addressing the gathering at the Grand Deba, the Omanhene of the ancient Dutch-influenced community, Nana Kojo Kondria VI, bemoaned government negligence in paying the township royalties of the revenue generated from the Dutch-built St. George's Castle. He said for several years, government has denied the people of Elmina the royalties. He threatened to have the place closed to tourists should government fail to do the needful.
Yabatum was traditional. Nasiabaya Melzina Yako, Ibro, BBC, the Bonibiana Babaha, Abefayala Bobana. If you are the man to cast in man, it is an ye. Member Bosom, Samantanka, but no, man, 1 million Bugua, Wababa. No more child, Yabatum was traditional. Last time you book is Mubesa, Castle was said.
The municipal chief executive for Commander Edina Egwafo Ibrahim, Solomon Ebo Apia, while speaking to Metro News, promised to have the matter dealt with.
It's a very unique one, and per the request of the Omanhene of Edina traditional area, Nana Kojo the Source, he knows very well that the government is a lesser government. You could see from the speech and the narration that he made that it was since John Adekunko for time as a president. It was only 2009 that they stopped paying. So he has reminded us as a government, we'll go back and we'll make sure that all these processes will be resolved. So it is not a matter of closing the Elmina Castle. We have done it before. We gave them the opportunity to pay the royalties to them. And now has appealed to us again. And I know, and I'm very optimistic that the president is the listening president, and this will be conveyed to him, and within the shortest possible time, it will be resolved.
For these indigenes and patrons of the festival, they feel more excited to have the festival celebrated this year, following the suspension as a result of the measures to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Our first has a business. If you had no crime, another non-quadra, Nasa Pade, Ebeza Fasha, I am there, Nay, I am is our fashion. Yadaka, and Anoma. What do over Jack to what they are Naman for?
I feel the Uncle paying for you and Yaki. This year, so the Yamia say, I finance our battery.
So there's an uneasy camp situation in Commander over plans to install a successor to the late Omanhene Nana Kojo II, as all 5 divisional chiefs of the Commander Traditional Council have vowed to reject the purported installation of a claiming the action contravene the traditional principles of the area. The chiefs have threatened to break away to form a new traditional council. The following report has more.
That one of the candidates called Azipaka stands disqualified because according to their taboo, anyone who had gone a fishing before is debarred from contesting or occupying the position of Omanhene. So we called the president of the Regional House of Chiefs because the petition was addressed to him and told him that This is what we've received. And therefore, we find it appropriate, just and fair to await the outcome of the petition. Some days later, even though we've not heard anything from the House, we got to know that one of the candidates, one of the nominees, had been confined. So quickly, myself as a member of the Kingmakers, with Nana Kodechi II and the Paramount Queen Mother, we initiated court processes. We filed the same on the 27th of June at the Judicial Committee of the Central Regional House of Chiefs, praying the court to injunct the purported outdooring and installation of the one who had been confined.
Me wambado. Me young wa friend henda yankwa house. Mpenyufuna friend yankwa house. Yakwa house a. Wenza amam. Na mo huni senti. Da ma amambra kwando wanse no. Amambra kwando no. Wanse no. Nse kwan bi ado no. Ma anja antum. Awan nananum mpenyufu ase wankwa hye. Then yanji ntum. Mr. Menji ntum. Me mama nsadu pa na wampeda mbakasa. Mr. Menji ntum. Nti anyi na waachi no commander no. Menyem ho hwe.
Let's now come back to Accra, where the headmistress for Accra Simpe in Jamestown, Augustina Jamina, has bemoaned the lack of attendance of some final year students who will be sitting for the Basic Education Certificate examination in October.
Speaking about the challenges being faced by the Accra Simpe Junior High School in Jamestown, a suburb of Accra, headmistress of the school, Augustina Jamina, mentioned that though it has created the necessary condition for students to be able to pass their final exams, students have refused to turn up to classes. She also complained about the commitment on the part of parents to the success of the awards, as they have refused to attend PTA meetings.
October yani Form 3 way and only PTA meeting. One more Saturday my teachers see fear ever.
The BEC candidates here have refused to attend classes organized for them. Only a handful of pupils usually turn up.
The provision of educational accessories such as books and assorted items by the Queen Mother of Abola is to encourage the teachers and pupils of schools visited to give off their best and not end up as social misfits.
Where you have the focus of where you want to go or the things that you wanted to achieve, anything is achievable if you put your mind to it. So I came here basically to encourage the children to take education very seriously. Sometimes when we are so much focused on the girls' child education that we neglect the boys. But as a parent, when our children start to grow, we wanted them to marry responsible men. But if we neglect the boy child, how can it grow to become a responsible man for your daughter to get married? So I am bringing them together to impart their knowledge in education.
The headmistress of the school thanked the Queen Mother for the assistance.
Some of the children, the parents, they cannot buy the books for the children. When we reopen school like that, the first academic year, we normally ask for going to the next class for books and other things. The parents buy few. And then later on, when you ask them that the books are finished and they should bring some, they don't bring it. So with what the Queen Mother has done today, she's going to help us a long way.
The Queen Mother also visited Happy Days Academy, where she shared similar sentiments.
Now, solid waste management expert on the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project, Henrietta Osei-Tutu, has called for a concerted effort in resolving the flooding menace in the country. According to her, the indiscriminate disposal of waste is not helping the situation.
The Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project was initiated by government to improve flood and solid waste management in the Greater Accra region, particularly in communities along the Odo River Basin. As part of effort to realize this agenda, a cleanup exercise was organized in Aloboshin, a community in the Kaikwe North municipality. Over 100 residents from the area participated in the exercise. Solid waste management expert on the project, Henrietta Osei-Tutu, called for a concerted effort to reduce the spate of flooding in the country.
Garrett, we are focusing on improving issues related to flooding, drainage management, and so we are going to be looking at the Odo Channel and providing some detention ponds, sand traps, and then other flood mitigation measures to reduce flooding, the incidence of flooding within the channel.
She bemoaned the spate of illegal disposal of waste by some Aboboya operators in the municipality.
Garrett, we are also organizing the informal service providers. So what you typically call Aboboya people, we have them here. Their leader is also here, and we are organizing them into cooperatives so that we can monitor and bring some sanity into the way they operate, because sometimes they do a lot of illegal dumping and their operations are not sanitized. So we are bringing some sort of organization into the Aboboya group.
The Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project is being implemented by the Ministry of Works and Housing, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development.
Let's now talk about the Eid festivity. And a non-governmental organization, the Life Foundation, has supported some people with partners. International charity organization Salam Charity has distributed meat products to over 800 individuals in communities within Tamale and Accra as part of its yearly support for poor families during the Eid festivities.
Speaking during the distribution, President of the Light Foundation, Sheikh Abubakar Ali Napari, expressed his gratitude to UK-based Salam Charity for keeping faith with the vulnerable during the Eid festivities.
We thank Almighty Allah for making it possible for us to be able to prepare this Qurbani. And then today is the second day of Eid. We are there in the slaughterhouse preparing the beef so that we can go and distribute it to the community. And we thank Salam Charity and people who are supporting them to make this possible. Say, Jazakumullahu khairan.
The yearly project targets the most vulnerable families, mostly Muslim living in Zango communities. This project is implemented yearly in some targeted areas. It is considered a crucial project due to its role in strengthening the bonds between the members of the Muslim communities, as well as providing people who perform the ritual of sacrifice during the Eid with the opportunity to donate the fresh meat to the most vulnerable families.
And we're still live here on Newsbill Live on DSTV channel 277 from Aturusia out of Region Accra, the Okuya Boyima studio. A quick break, we're back with business. Welcome back. Let's now do some business news here. Now, Tesla Incorporation Chief Executive Officer Elon Musk said he was terminating his $44 billion deal for Twitter Incorporation, saying that the social media company had failed to provide information about fake accounts on the platform. Shares of Twitter fell 6% in extended trading. In a filing, Musk's lawyer said Twitter had failed to or refused to respond to multiple requests for information on fake or spam accounts on the platform, which is fundamental to the company's business performance. Musk had threatened to halt the deal unless the company showed proof that spam and bot accounts were fewer than 5% of users who were seeing advertising on social media service. Last month, Twitter allowed Musk access its Firehose, a repository of raw data on hundreds of millions of daily tweets. Twitter has responded, not yet. So we have now been joined on Zoom by tech expert Kobe Spiking Chroma to tell us more. Kobe, good afternoon to you. What does this termination means to Twitter?
So basically, Elon Musk is trying to, well, people are assuming that he's gotten cold feet because of his attitude, because a little bit after when he announced that he wanted to buy the platform and he was giving, the go-ahead, he started to give, quote-unquote, excuses about why he wasn't going forward with the deal. Number one being that he said there were too many bot accounts, and this was why he was holding back. He had put the deal on hold. But I also concerned that he's already supposed to make this deal. He's already supposed to finish this deal because everything has been finalized. Now, there's also the suggestion that the Silicon Valley right now, all these tech companies are struggling because of the stock market crash. And himself, Elon Musk's company Tesla, has lost a couple of shares. And this is causing an issue with his going forward to buy. Because if you think about it, what he proposed was about $54.20 per share. And now Twitter's share is at a bit under $34, if I'm correct. And that means that he is spending a lot of money on Twitter as well. So maybe you can consider it as buyer's remorse. Like, he may be making a huge loss if he does buy it. There's also concerns that he doesn't know what he's doing.
Right, and Elon Musk is worried about Twitter's failure to address spam accounts, leading to the termination. Now, of the $44 billion deal. Now, first of all, what are spam accounts, and why should that be a big deal for Elon Musk?
So spam accounts or bot accounts are basically accounts that are not operated by humans. They're automated accounts. So having a certain number of accounts that are not human on your platform can essentially mean that you are not giving the true picture of what your platform is. So take, for instance, you have a product and you're saying that you have 5,000 people purchasing your product each day. And it comes to the knowledge of your investors that these 5,000 people, out of them, 2,000 are not real human beings. So you say.
And we are joined on Zoom by Kobe Spiking Chroma, who's a tech expert, and we are talking about the termination of a $44 billion deal by Elon Musk and Twitter. And according to him, he's worried because Twitter has not been able to provide account on what exactly it means for the company to have spam accounts and bot accounts as well on the platform, what exactly this means for users who are seeing adverts on Twitter. And so we are trying to get him back online. Zoom has disconnected. For more update on what exactly this means for the tech industry and users of Twitter. But before that, now the agri sector grew by 5.6% in the first quarter of 2022. Even with that, the subsector has not been able to meet up with the local demand for food crops across the country.
Agriculture is one of the important contributors to the country's export earnings and a major source of income for a majority of the population in the country. Rice is one of the major food staples. However, due to the increased domestic consumption, which is exceeding the domestic production, Ghana imports 66% of rice consumed. Hence, the economic cost of depending on imported rice is high and on the rise. Other major cash crops of the country include cocoa, oil, pineapple, tomatoes, and fresh vegetables. As the country is emerging with a large number of middle-class income families, the number of consumers demanding high-quality fruits and vegetables is increasing in the country. It is estimated that the domestic vegetable market in the country is growing at 10% per year. Tomatoes, onion, and pepper are the most important vegetables in the country. The demand for fresh fruits, such as pineapples, is very high, with mostly intended for export, traditional domestic markets, supermarkets, and fruit processing. There is also a growing demand for fresh fruits for processing and juice for both local consumption and exports. In 2018 and 2019, Ghana's agriculture output grew, driven largely by government policy and expenditure. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, in the third quarter of 2019, agriculture grew by 5.5% year-over-year. outpacing the same year's general non-oil GDP growth. Industrialization and productivity improvement programs are expected to increase the output of the agriculture sector, create jobs, and encourage greater participation by the private sector.
Let's go back to our earlier story where we were talking about Elon Musk cancelling or terminating the contract between himself and Twitter. And we're earlier joined on Zoom by Kobe Spike Nkrumah, who is a tech expert, and telling us what this means for Twitter users and Twitter as well. Now, Kobe, welcome back. So I want to find out what exactly this means, as last month, Twitter allowed Musk access to its Firehose. That's the risk for Twitter after the termination. What exactly would this mean for the company?
So for the company, this initially was supposed to give the shareholders some profits because they bought shares, and the price of the shares have gone up because of Musk's offer and because of the amount of money he was about to give them, because he was about to take a company private, which essentially means that he's buying all the shares from every single shareholder. Now, with this pullout, it means that they're not going to get this, and the price of the share right now is low. So in case, assuming that you were a shareholder and you had invested in Twitter right now, you made some projections based on the fact that, oh, Elon is going to buy Twitter, I'm going to make some money, and those projections are just going to go out of the window if this deal does not pull through. There is a $1 billion, if he decides to pull out, deal also attached to this, but Elon Musk is trying hard not to have to pay anything at all.
And I want to find out what exactly it means, because we just saw Elon Musk go there to the Firehose of Twitter just last month, and as of today, the deal is over.
Well, the Twitter board is saying that they're going to sue Elon Musk because they weren't expecting this deal to be ended just like that, because you can't come and give us all this hope and then one of the blue just decide to pull out. It also means a lot for the company because some of the employees at Twitter do not really like Elon Musk. And if you paid attention to the time when Elon had a one-on-one, well, not exactly a one-on-one because it was via teleconferencing, the comments and some of the expressions that the Twitter employees made about Elon suggested that a lot of them did not like him. And they also felt that he didn't know what he was going to do with the platform. And for the company, some people believe this is a good thing because they honestly believe that if Elon had taken over Twitter, he would have ruined it. And there's also some people who thought it would have improved, which was why at a point in time, Twitter's stock price grew because of we've seen what he's done with Tesla, with SpaceX, with Neuralink, and then so it had people assuming that this knowledge would have been carried over to Twitter. So there's a bit of a divisive, sentiment when it comes to that. Even Twitter's former CEO, Jack Dorsey, had hopes for Twitter with Elon Musk at the helm. But right now, it doesn't seem so much.
All right, thank you so much, Spikey, Kobe, and Nkrumah, for your update here with us on what exactly is happening to Twitter and Elon Musk. And just so you know, shares of Twitter fell by 6% when the announcement was made. Former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay, is peeved about the way Twi language is used as voiceovers in promoting foreign content on Ghanaian television, and is calling for a stop to it.
The rising concern about the denigration of local languages has taken center stage once again, this time coming from former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Quay. The statesman is peeved about the way the Twi language is used as voiceovers to promote foreign content on Ghanaian televisions. According to him, it does not augur well for the culture and leaves him worried about the way the foreign values are promoted at the expense of the local ones. I beg beg our actors and scriptwriters to come out with Ghanaian films. I get sick anytime I hear Twi words or Gan words push through some European and Asian lips. The practice should be stopped if we should develop as a people, he said. He made these comments at the inaugural memorial lecture of Ochiniheba Dr. Jones Akwesi Amuakwata Oforiata at the University of Ghana. Professor Okoye believes the Ghanaian entertainment industry is giving too much mileage to European and Asian content, which leaves him wondering what may be left of the indigenous assets. These are the things that unmake a nation. It can never happen in Malaysia. It can never happen in India. It can never happen in any of the Asian countries, he added. He wants producers in the film industry to make a conscious effort to develop homegrown content to propagate the values of society.
And you can let us know what you made of this particular story via our social media handles on Facebook and YouTube at Metro TV Ghana. Let's now shift our focus onto the international front. And on the international front, Russian rockets hit the eastern Ukraine town of Chazivya, destroying a 5-story apartment building and killing at least 6 people. Pavlo, governor of Donetsk region, said about 3 dozen people could be trapped in the rubble. Rescuers have made contact with 2 people who are under the wreckage, he said on the Telegram messaging app. Now, the person said the town of about 12,000 was hit by Uragan rockets, which are fired from truck bomb systems. Chazivya is about 20 kilometers, approximately 12 miles southeast of Kramatorsk, a city that is expected to be a major target of Russian forces as they grind westward. The Donetsk region is one of 2 provinces along with Luhansk that make up the Donbas region, where separatist rebels have fought Ukrainian forces since 2014. Last week, Russia captured the city of Lysychansk, the last major stronghold of Ukrainian resistance in Luhansk. Now, Russian forces are raising true hell in Donbas, despite assessments they were taking an operational pause. Luhansk's governor, Serhiy Haidai, said on Saturday. And that's it for the news here on News Before Studios here at Regional Accra, the Kuya Bohima studio. I am Bright, then Akwesi Amini. There's more news at 7 p.m. Have a good afternoon and bye.